All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope that you had an amazing day and that you're ready to join the discussion tonight. So, in case you do not know, May is actually Mental Health Awareness Month. So, this live is inspired by that. And I'll actually be going live every week to be able to talk about a topic related to mental health. But I want to actually delve deeper into topics that are not typically talked about during this month. And I'll do a mini introduction just to cover some basic things just to keep in mind as we are in this month for you to be able to care for yourself and to care for others. But, for the purpose of the lives of this month, I do want to, talk about just topics related to mental health again that are just not typically discussed. So, in case you do not know who I am, my name is Sherry Wary. Yes, it rhymes. Yes, it's my real name. I have lots of fun with my name, to say the least. But I am the CEO and empowerment strategist of Weary Consultations, where I empower people to walk in their God given identity through personal, professional, and spiritual development. I do this through online videos like this. I also have courses. I have two books I self publish, and I'll also do speaking engagements as well. So, if you're interested in finding more information out about that, you can check out my website, which of course is going to be sherryweary.com. So that's SHERRYWHERRY.com. So you can check that out just for more information. If you are not following me, I encourage you to do so. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm currently streaming live to those locations. You're definitely welcome to connect with me so that you can be able to see other content that I post and to join the conversation, regarding whatever topic we are discussing for that day. Definitely encourage you to share this live with someone. You are more than welcome to tag friends or just people that you know who can benefit from this discussion. And we're going to go ahead and jump into it. So, the topic may be, or the title may seem a little kind of like, what are you talking about, Sherry Weary? But we're going to delve a little bit into it right now. But before actually I get into that, I do want to go over just some preliminary, information that I won't be going into detail during my lives and stuff, but still just important to know. So first and foremost, Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental health awareness is not just for individuals who are experiencing a mental emotional crisis. So let's level set just right there. Mental and emotional wellness is something that all of us actually need to be cognizant of, and we also need to have a plan. So just like you go and you see your primary care physician for your annual checkup, just like you go to the dentist, every 3 to 6 months, however frequently you go for your checkups there, and you go and you do everything else to take care of yourself, whether it's getting your hair cut and going to the barber or going to the salon, maybe doing it yourself, getting your spa treatments, facials, whatever it is that you do, your mental and emotional wellness needs to be on that list as well. And so, that could be connecting with a licensed professional. Again, you do not need to wait until you are in crisis mode in order to check in with a licensed professional. Or you can even have a life coach that you work with. It is important for you to have individuals in your lives who are able to support you. And so you want to take the time just to think about goals that you want to meet when it comes to your mental and emotional well being. And then once you have created those goals, then you reach out to the people who can support you to meet those. Now, it could even be a loved one as well, but I do want to give a side note to that asterisk when it comes to leaning on your friends and family is that first and foremost, these are people who care for you if you have good relationships with them. But one, if they're not licensed professionals, then their capacity to be able to support you is going to be limited. And then even if they are licensed professionals, there's still a conflict of interest when it comes to them using their professional skill set to even support you. So you just want to keep that in mind. But for the individuals who, are your close friends and loved ones, is that you want to be mindful that you're not trying to, get support from them that they just don't have the capacity to give. And so this is why, connecting with licensed professionals are definitely important. If from a financial perspective, you're not able to do that, or maybe your health insurance just doesn't have great mental health benefits, which is problematic for so many reasons, but I won't get off into that right now. Is that you can definitely find just resources when it comes to get the support that you need from a licensed professional. The great thing about social media is that there are tons of people online who now have public platforms that you can connect with them with, and they share regular tips. And so, you can actually connect with licensed therapists or life coaches, or, someone who deals with, your specific situation. Let's say if you are dealing with grief and you're just not sure how to navigate that, you can find a grief specialist that you can follow online, and then you can be able to get the tips and resources that they share. With there are professionals out there who also have products that you can purchase from them, or even courses or books, or even free worksheets that you can download as well. And so there is a range of price points that comes with that, right? And so you may be able to get a resource for as little as $5, right? Where it's just a downloadable worksheet that you can utilize to help you to create mental emotional goals. Or you can buy a book, for $20, or maybe it's $10, or even a self care journal, right? I know several people who actually put out things like that. So you're more than welcome to just go ahead and do a search and follow them. It's great to have entertainment and have the cute memes and the jokes and everything you get from social media. But you can also use it to help you to meet your mental and emotional wellness goals as well. So don't allow finances to hold you back, or just complicated insurance benefits. Make the call just by calling a number on the back of your insurance card and just see just what you have available to you. It is important for you to be able to create a plan, and again, make sure you're being supported by the right people. When it comes to individuals who may be experiencing a crisis, is that it's definitely important for you to reach out to a licensed professional. I've been there. I know what it's like, but you are not alone. Your life matters. You are important, and you deserve the support that everyone else is getting to be able to navigate through whatever it is that they're going through, if they're connected to, support systems. And so just reach out. As much as it may feel embarrassing, or you may feel ashamed, or just maybe even have some guilt related to just different things you've experienced. No matter what has happened, you deserve support. You are loved. You are valuable. You are important. And so just make sure you reach out to someone. And when it comes to just if you are in need of support, if you're experiencing crisis, you can call 988. And so that is a hotline that is national here in the United States. It was created a few years ago. So you can call that if you are experiencing a mental health crisis, and be able to speak with someone immediately to be able to get support. So definitely reach out, check it out, and make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Um, so that is kind of like general information just to keep in mind. And so ultimately, Mental Health Awareness Month is about making sure people are supported. And it's also about just getting rid of the stigma. And so, if you have experienced, any issues when it comes to your mental and emotional wellness, or even if you have not, just whatever you are, let's be part of the solution by getting rid of stigma. So calling people crazy because you're seeing a therapist is not good at all. That is a big no-no. And so you don't want to do that. You don't want to guilt trip people for needing support. You don't want to guilt trip people if they need to take medication. While medication may not be the answer for everyone, it is the answer for some people. And so you just want to be mindful, even in discussions of when you're sharing your own personal experience and what someone else will need, is that it's okay to share your experience, but please don't do that at the expense of making someone feel guilty because they need support that maybe you did not need. And so ultimately, we just want people to be able to make informed decisions, to be able to talk with professionals and to talk with their wellness team, to be able to determine what is best for them in light of the individual goals that they have for their own selves. And so make sure you get the help that you need. Reach out, talk to someone, and just don't try to handle it by yourself. Because if you try to handle it by yourself, is that it may just become overwhelming. And so want to make sure that you are not just experiencing overwhelm unnecessarily, when there are people who can definitely support you. You don't have to feel bad. Again, you don't have to feel guilty. You'll hear me be repetitive because these are some of the things that sometimes people deal with, but just want to encourage you to reach out and get the help that you need. All right. So now that I have done that, let's go ahead and jump into then the title of this live, which is the deceit of success. If you're watching this on the replay, thanks for joining and watching. Feel free to text or share this broadcast with someone else that you feel that can benefit from this information as well. All right, so the deceit of success. So I put up a notification or post, earlier this evening, talking a little bit about just what it means to really be mindful of your mental health, even in light of just experiencing success. So let me first start off and say is that there are definitely people who have achieved success in healthy ways. So please know that this video is not an indictment on everyone who has experienced success. It's geared towards, again, specific people who have experienced success, but it's been at the expense of their mental and emotional wellness. And so, with talking about the deceit of success, it really is then necessary for us to dig deeper and to look past just the initial accomplishments that we have and to get to the root of the why. And so, with getting to the root of the why, is really dealing with what was the pursuit, what was the cause for the pursuit, what was the initiation, that set you on this pathway to pursue whatever accomplishment that you had. Whether it's getting a degree or licensing or certification, whether it's getting a certain position at a particular company, or even when it comes to those of you all who are part of the faith community, even getting certain titles and positions within the church, right? Is that while the current work that you are doing, whether it's even volunteering for organizations, it could be positive things that you are doing. And so the issue is not what you're doing, the issue can just be in your why. And so with digging deeper, is that you want to keep asking yourself why until you don't have any other answers to give, right? So it's like, why did I pursue that? Like, okay, well, I wanted to get this degree. Well, why did you want to get that degree? Well, this is because I was something that I was interested in. Okay, well, why were you interested in it? Oh, well, because I had this experience where I needed support, this type of support, and it wasn't available. It's like, okay, well, why didn't you have that type of support? Well, because of the area that I grew up in, these were resources not available. Or with the family that I grew in, this is just not things that we did. So I didn't know. Like, okay, well, why didn't your community have that? Why didn't your family? So again, you keep going down, and asking yourself why until you can't ask any other question, and you can't provide any other answer, because then that can tell you then the root could possibly be then okay, the ultimate answer as far as why I chose the degree that I'm in is because I experienced rejection from those who were closest to me as a kid, and I never wanted to feel rejected again. And so my first experiences of, and I'm speaking to this, not my story, I'm just giving an example. And so now my first experiences with being accepted was when I achieved these professional or educational accolades. And so now these accolades become then this addiction that needs to be fed, right? Where it's like, oh, now this is where these voids of rejection getting filled because now I'm getting celebrated because of what I do, right? And so again, nothing wrong with being celebrated. Everyone should definitely be celebrated, for whatever contributions they give. But then when your identity becomes rooted in what you do and not who you are, that's when we have to start to question, like, okay, is there some type of unresolved pain or some unresolved issues that you haven't dealt with, whether it's from your childhood or even experiences in your adulthood, that now on a surface has you pursuing these great things and have you achieving these great things when it comes to serving other people or producing for an organization, or even, when it comes to increasing your income, right? But it's been at the expense of your own well being. And so you don't want to allow success to cause you to think that everything is okay when it really isn't. Again, this is not for everyone. There are people who have achieved some awesome things and it's been done in healthy ways. But when the root of your success is because of the fact that you have unaddressed pain or you're in denial of just processing things that you've experienced, this is where we now have to step back and say, like, okay, what do I need to do to start this process of healing, right? Maybe you toss yourself into doing all the things, right? Like you have the job or you have the business, and then you're on the board for 3 organizations, and you're on like 5 different ministries at church, and you volunteer at other organizations, and then you also have mentees that you do as well. And so it's like from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, you are literally just doing something for everyone else, right? The only time that really focuses on you is when you're getting dressed in the morning, right? Is that that's the most time and attention that you give yourself is for you to put yourself together to be able to present yourself to others. So even then, it's not really caring for yourself. It's really making sure that you don't show up raggedy, right? Or show up in a way that just is not on par with your brand, right? And so you're making sure that you look good, right? And so if you're spending all this time with giving to others and you're not taking the time to really give back to yourself and to allow yourself to think and to care for yourself, to process, to just rest, these can be signs that then just your success is in a cover up for other things that really need to be addressed. And so it can be hard to start to dig through those roots as far as like what's going on, right? But ultimately, it is going to catch up with you at some point, and then it may be so big of a the issue just may be so complex that it requires you to peel back more layers than what you would have had to if you would have dealt with it from the beginning, right? And so this is not to condemn you. This is not to say that you're a horrible person or it's something wrong, but it is just to start to look at the why of why you do things, right? Is that we can sometimes be better at helping other people than we are at helping ourselves. And so because we're so good at helping ourselves, then that high of seeing people have their breakthrough moments prevents us from experiencing the low of asking ourselves questions that we sometimes don't have answers to, right? Is that if we start to dig really, really deep, is that we may find answers that we have not dealt with or even addressed in years or decades, or even since the first incident occurred that planted that seed of experience within us, right? And so it's important to uproot the seeds. You don't necessarily need to change your career or change the volunteer things that you're doing, but it's about then building upon what you do from a place of health, right? Is that when you think about just even building a house, the foundation matters. You can have this beautiful home that is huge and has all the latest technology and is very modern, or if you prefer a more traditional layout, but it's just the perfect home, right, for you, whatever your design aesthetic is. But if the foundation is shaking, if the foundation ain't right, that beautiful home can literally crumble and fall apart. And it may take years for that to happen. Let's say, for instance, if you have a foundation and there's just a crack in the foundation. Well, if you don't address that crack in the foundation, that foundation crack now is going to lead to the house being, off centered and not being leveled. And then you can actually have just other issues start to happen in that home, all because of the foundation. The home is beautiful. The home was built the way it was supposed to, but the foundation was all wrong, right? And so, depending on how bad the foundation is, you have to get extra. I'll say I'm not a construction worker, so I can't tell you what's the exact worst case of having a bad foundation, but I do know it's not good, right? And so ultimately, it's really about us making sure the foundation of everything else that we do is solid, making sure that it's sure, and making sure that it's something that we can just build off of, right? And so when we're talking about then the deceit of success, it's making sure that we haven't built this foundation of success off of our inability to process the things that we need to process through, right? And so then what do you do if this is you, right? Let's get into talk about just some practical resources as far as what you can do. Well, one, it's about being honest that, hey, I have been running from my own issues. I've been running from my own thoughts. I've been running from my own life experiences. So let me be honest about the fact that I have been running from it, right? And then the second thing that is really important to do is then for you to reach out to people who can help you, right? Not the friend who was going to, co-sign on you not addressing the things, right? But you really want to make sure that you are reaching out to people who really are going to be honest with you, and honest with you about, hey, yeah, there's something you need to do different, but also honest about your capacity, and also honest about your worth as well, right? And so you don't want people who's going to speak negativity and say, well, yeah, your foundation of success is messed up, because you haven't healed from XYZ, and just, that's just what happens in our family. That's just what we do, right? This is just what the Jacksons do. So, just go ahead and just put on your big girl or your big boy underwear and just move forward. Like, no, that's not the people you need in your life. And so, again, it could be a family friend, it can be a loved one, it can be, a licensed professional. And to be honest, there's a lot of pros when it comes to speaking to a licensed professional about it. First and foremost, a licensed professional is bound by laws that prevent them from putting your business all out in the street, right? And so, if you fall out with your friend or your family member, they might go and put your business on the street. Hopefully they wouldn't, but there's a risk. With a licensed professional, they are bound by that client therapist relationship, right? So they won't put it out there. Secondly, they also have the capacity then to be able to start to through those core memories that are essential to really building together the foundation that you had. And they also have the tools to be able to help you to navigate that in a way that is going to allow you to be emotionally safe, one, during the discussion, but also after the discussion is done as well, right? And so when it comes to just processing, let's say if you've experienced some pretty painful experiences, or if you have experienced trauma, or let's say if you just had some, interactions with people where they have taken advantage of you in some type of way, processing through that will take time, and it's important for you to take it one small step at a time. You don't want to try to do it all at once because you can overwhelm yourself. And a licensed professional has the tools and strategies to help you to be able to do that, right? So you can reach out to a licensed professional. And then it's just being committed to the process and know that the process is not always going to be easy. Just like the initial experience or multiple experiences were not something that were enjoyable to go through, then the process of then healing that is that it's going to be some tough moments. And so you don't want to go in with unrealistic expectations, expecting 20 years of painful experiences to be taken care of in just one 60-minute session, right? Or just even over the course of just a few days or maybe in a few weeks. You want to give yourself time to truly walk yourself through that. And then also know that there's going to be some celebratory moments in the midst of it too. All of it is not going to be hard and, frustrating, but there's going to be some celebratory moments as well. But the big celebration is going to come once you've been able to give yourself time to fully go through your process of recovery and healing and rebuilding your foundation. So now success is no longer a smoke mirror for you, right? And so I encourage you just really to start to ask yourself the questions, just the why, right? Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? Why is it that, you have chosen to participate in the things you do? Why do you have the different ethics and morals that you live by? Why do you have these specific guidelines in place when it comes to who you choose to interact with and who you don't? How close you let people in or how far you push them away? It's just to start to ask yourself why, right? And then once you're asking yourself why, to get the support and the resources that you need to be able to give yourself heal, because the time to heal, because you definitely deserve it. You are worthy of it. And you don't want to allow just these false identities to actually keep you bound. Because the truth of the matter is that the more you pour yourself into success at the expense of your own well being, the more of a detriment that you're actually doing yourself. Like you're doing yourself a huge disservice, right? And so there's nothing wrong with going after the accolades, nothing wrong with being successful, but we want to make sure that our success is rooted in the healthiest version of ourselves. Because the truth of the matter is that depending on where we are operating from, if we're operating out of our pain or if we're operating out of our healing journey, those perspectives are going to be completely different. Those journeys are going to look very different, right? Just the way that you even respond and speak about yourself, your environment, and others is going to be very different. And so it's important then to take the time to really go through the healing process, because there's some things that we see in our pain that are true, but then there's some things that we see in our pain that are not true, right? But because it's our perspective and perspective is reality, it seems so real to us. And so we're operating out of a misconstrued perception that we're not even aware is distorted, right? And so when you operate from that place of pain, it's that you're operating from a place of distortion. Again, not to blame you, especially if your pain or trouble that you've experienced has been because people have taken advantage of you and misused you. None of this that I have said at all on this evening is a justification of abuse of any kind. No one should ever take advantage of or abuse anyone. So this is not justifying what they did. What I'm focusing on is that what can we do to support you now so that you can have a strong foundation of success for everything that you do in your life. And so that you can also get to the place where you're not living for the affirmations and celebrations of people, because that is very fickle, right? Is that there are so many examples we can give of people who are well known where they were celebrated one day and then condemned the next day, right? And so we don't want you to have your identity and your worth and your value rooted in something that is unstable and that could completely just go away just in one moment. And so you want your value, you want your perspective, you want your emotions, your emotional wellness, your mental wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness, all the other types of wellnesses. You want that all rooted in just who you are, and that is rooted in you having innate value because of who you were created to be and who created you, right? God, the Genesis one says that we are created in the image of God, right? And so, with us being created in His image, that means that we are valuable. We have so much access to be able to accomplish amazing things in the earth. And I don't mean amazing when it comes to like becoming a celebrity or things of that nature. To be completely honest, I think some of the most impactful things are things that people never really hear about, right? And so just being a great mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, whatever, a great friend, those are things that are just so much more important than fame and money and things of that nature. Of course, money is necessary. We need money to be able to navigate the fact that we live in a capitalistic society. But ultimately, it's about focusing on the things that matter, right? And so you matter and you are valuable even if you don't have all the accolades, even if no one ever knows your name. You're valuable because of who you are, not just because of who you do. And taking the time to be able to heal allows you to be able to see that for yourself. So, that is all that I have for this evening. I thank you for joining this conversation. Again, shout out to you all who are watching this on a replay. But I hope that you take care and that you have a restful evening or restful day whenever you're watching the replay. And I definitely look forward to talking with you all soon. Feel free to drop in the comments just any aha moments that you had or something that stood out or resonated with you. Again, I'll be going live every week this month because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I would love to just talk more about you, about what it means just to take care of yourself. If you have any suggestions for topics that you would like for me to discuss, you are more than welcome to drop that in the chat as well. So take care again. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing evening. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.